And she would say, "I love you too, Mama."
A mother tries to make sense of her daughter's death.
I miss everything about her already.
A community tries to understand why.
I woke up thinking it was a bad dream.
But the tragedy at this high school is real. Parents are hugging their children tighter today.
I tell them it's okay to cry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be hurt.
You can't unsee that. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I can't describe it.
And praying for those who never will again.
Would kiss her and tell her I loved her every morning before I left for work. And she would say, "I love you too, Mama."
That grieving mother is Secret Holt. Her 15-year-old daughter Bailey is one of the two Marshall County High School students who died in yesterday's mass shooting.
Bailey Holt's family is remembering her life today and the impact she had on everyone she knew.
I'm gonna miss her smile, her beautiful smile, her bubbly personality, and her love of family. She loved her family more than anything in this world, and we loved her so much. I'm just miss seeing her every morning before school. I would kiss her and tell her I loved her every morning before I left for work. And she would say, "I love you too, Mama." I miss everything about her already. She was just so beautiful and perfect. She had her future planned. She wanted to be a nurse. Her grades were effortless. She did everything she could for anybody that needed it. And I know that she would have been the shooter's friend in a heartbeat if she knew that he needed someone to talk to. Because that's just the kind of person she is.
To recap, 15-year-old Bailey Holt and 15-year-old Preston Cope lost their lives after a fellow student opened fire in the school yesterday morning.
State police confirm 16 people total suffered gunshot wounds. This is video of the school today. Some people have even stopped by the board office and placed flowers outside. Many of you have asked when the person responsible for the shooting will be charged with a crime and when we'll know his identity officially. Local 6's Bryce Mansfield spoke with the Commonwealth attorney today. So Bryce, when does he say we could see a trial?
His answer to me is basically it could take quite a bit of time. Just talking to him, he said right now investigators are currently working on combing through the evidence at the school. Now, Blankenship also told me today that because this suspect is 15 years old, he remains under a juvenile status. But Blankenship says that can change. Juvenile court is scheduled for tomorrow, so if that suspect is then moved to an adult status, the entire story can change here. And here's how it can change. If he's moved to an adult status, the grand jury will decide in February what charges he will face. And if there's enough evidence to support the charges, the grand jury will issue a true bill indictment. Blankenship tells me at that point, his office will have to turn over all evidence. Once both the prosecution and defense prepare their cases, a trial date will be requested, set, and then the trial will take place. The timing for all of this, Blankenship says, could be months. Also want to make a note here that Jason Darnold, the assistant county attorney, said it's their intent to charge the suspect with 2 counts of murder and 12 counts of assault first, which is first-degree assault. He said in a conference today that they would be able to support a case for those assault charges, and those would carry the same penalty as the attempted murder charges. Now, I've been out here all day. I've spoke to multiple people in different shops and businesses. It's a shared consensus. Everybody, it's setting in even more. A lot of people lost a lot of sleep last night, and they woke up today and they realized that the events of yesterday were all too real. Speaking to Blankenship today, that includes him.
I don't want my children to grow up in a world where their kids are going to get killed at school.
Again, that juvenile hearing is scheduled for tomorrow morning. No media will be allowed in, but we will try to get you all details as soon as we get them. Reporting live in Marshall County, Bryce Mansfield, WPSD, Local 6.
All right, Bryce, thank you.
We want to be transparent with the decisions we're making in our coverage of the Marshall County High School shooting. Our team is making these decisions out of respect for all the families impacted by this tragedy.
Many of you have sent us pictures that claim to name and show the suspected shooter. We are choosing not to show that information because he is still considered a juvenile. He is not being charged as an adult yet, even though the county attorney intends to try him as one. All we are reporting about him right now is that he is a 15-year-old student.
We've also seen pictures of what could be Preston Cope on social media. He's the teen who died after being airlifted to Vanderbilt Hospital. We're not showing those pictures because we have not spoken to Preston's parents yet. Our team will wait until we have their permission to use them. Local 6's Brianna Clark joins us live near Marshall County High School. And Brianna, what's the atmosphere like there today?
Todd, it's very somber. People here are just trying to make sense of the senseless. Now, Kentucky State Police are still on site, blocking off the road leading to the school parking lot. They are letting students through to pick up belongings left behind yesterday, and you can see some of them coming through now. Someone also set up this memorial over here to honor the lives that were lost and the families impacted. The sign says #Marshall Strong, prayers to all, Marshall Nation. And there's two things of flowers, Marshall colors. We are learning a few new details surrounding the gunman. Take a look at this. We shot this video yesterday. You can see a state trooper parked outside this home. Neighbors tell me this is where the 15-year-old shooting suspect lives. Now, we don't know why police were there, but neighbors say earlier yesterday, crews in tactical gear surrounded the home. A viewer sent me this photo. Neighbors say these guys started hauling out boxes and a computer. Now, we don't know why they took the items or what they did with them. A search warrant affidavit may have those answers, but we don't even know if that exists. All the documents are sealed because the suspect is a juvenile. I did ask these questions to Kentucky State Police. They have no comment. Live in Marshall County, Brianna Clark, WPSD Local 6.
Brianna, thank you. First Missionary Baptist Church in Benton is having a youth prayer service. That's tonight at 6:30. Students across the community are invited to attend.
President Donald Trump tweeted about the deadly shooting today. He said he spoke with Kentucky Governor Matt Bevin about the shooting. Quote, "My thoughts and prayers are with Bailey Holt, Preston Cope, and their families, and all of the wounded victims who are in recovery. We are with you." We learned today Collier Funeral Home in Benton is in charge of the funeral arrangements for Bailey and Preston. Local 6's Stephanie Martinez has been in contact with Bailey's friends and family. She was told Bailey was vibrant, kind, beautiful, both inside and out. Here's a picture of Bailey and close friend Johanna Davis. Davis is in the forefront there, and you can see Bailey behind her in that picture wearing her black glasses. Stephanie talked briefly with Johanna, who's now a student at Paducah Tillman High School. She says Bailey was special. She told us today what they like to do together.
We go on late night Pizza Hut runs whenever she was over, and we sang to old Taylor Swift a lot too and danced around in our pajamas, and it's kind of cheesy, but.
A female patient is the first of 5 who survived to be discharged from Vanderbilt. 3 patients have been upgraded to stable condition. Another patient is still listed in critical but stable. 18 students total were injured yesterday, whether it be from gunshot wounds or otherwise.
And we told you about Daniel Austin yesterday. He was shot in the right shoulder and is expected to be okay. Local 6's Amanda Roberts joins us live now from the school. And Amanda, what do we know about those students?
Well, Todd, we're still working to confirm a lot of the identities of the victims yesterday and the extent of their injuries, but I want to show you something. They've been in our hearts and prayers, all of them. And here outside of the Marshall County Board of Education, it's just a small token, a small tribute, a few bouquets of flowers, a balloon, just to say we are Marshall County strong. But I will tell you, we do know the identities of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th victims from yesterday's shooting. The second victim being Devin Evans. He is 16 years old. His dad tells us that he was shot in the back, but he is recovering at home, which is the good news. His dad told us that luckily the bullet just went through his body. It didn't hurt any major internal injuries. And he says he's just so fortunate. He's so thankful, and he's so thankful to have his son. Now everyone knew someone at this high school. Everyone had a friend. Everyone had a neighbor there yesterday, including Superintendent Trent Lovett. He also has a daughter who goes to the high school.
First and foremost, our thoughts and prayers are with our victims. Second, I would like to thank our staff, our administration, our students. They were phenomenal in the way they handled the situation yesterday. several acts of heroism. I'm very proud of them. Our first responders, many of them that are up here with us, were on the scene quickly, and they handled the situation tremendously.
Now, I have reached out to a lot of families, and a lot of families tell me they just want to be with their family right now. Understandably, it's a time to heal together, both physically and emotionally. But we do hope to tell those stories of both the fighters and the survivors as the stories develop. Reporting live in Marshall County, Amanda Roberts, WPSD Local 6.
Amanda, thank you. Tonight at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you about 3 other students recovering tonight.
The mercy and the love and the peace and joy, Lord God, I ask that you give that to us right now, in this room, in this building.
Students across the region are coming together in prayer to overcome the tragedy. McCracken County High School students held this vigil today. As you can see, dozens of students just filled up that auditorium. They shared a prayer and sang hymns for everyone impacted by the shooting.
And Jennifer, this is a picture of students at Paducah Tillman High School. They gathered around a courtyard today to pray for students at Marshall County High School. And there are more vigils scheduled throughout the week, and you can find a full list on our web channel, WPSDLocal6.com.
If you feel like you need help after the shooting, it's important that you talk to somebody. Trauma and grief counselors have set up centers across Marshall County. These are just a few of the locations here. Family Resource Center and PASAC counselors are at 1933 Mayfield Highway in Benton. Another counseling center is located at the old Pepsi bottling plant that's on Highway 641 North in Benton. The Mountain Comprehensive Care Center will have counseling at 145 Vine Street in Benton until school reopens. They will then have crisis counselors on the school campus. Local 6's Leah Shields joins us. So, Leah, what do parents need to know?
Well, parents, their privacy, your children's privacy, they will all be protected. I know at the counseling centers on Mayfield Highway and at 641, that rescue squads are serving as security there. So no media is allowed on the property. And if you are worried about cameras or being seen getting help, you do not have to worry about that. But if you aren't ready to talk to someone yet, you can start the conversation at home.
So just kind of knowing whatever you're experiencing, that's normal and that we expect those kinds of things to come up for people.
This traumatic event can affect everyone in different ways. PASAC family advocate Amanda Harris says there are signs to look for in your child.
Feeling upset, maybe depression, anxiety, changes in behavior, so changes in sleeping patterns, in eating habits. Traumatic stress can manifest physically, so sometimes we see things like headaches, stomach aches, body pain. In kids, we sometimes see acting out behaviors, so maybe anger outbursts and those types of things.
Harris says it's important we talk about what we saw and what we went through.
Really important that parents check in with their kids and just have these kinds of conversations. I think one good way to start that is just to ask them what they know. Kids get information from a lot of places, and not all of that information may be accurate. Asking kind of how they're feeling, what sort of thoughts they're having about these events.
Crying and talking about what happened are healthy coping skills. She says don't be afraid to reach out for help from a professional.
One thing that I think is really important too is finding the good in these situations. So looking for those helpers, maybe those first responders or the community members that are really showing support and finding those good pieces to focus on.
I feel like this is such good information. I've heard from so many parents. I mean, even a parent here whose 8-year-old daughter last night, I mean, she knew what had taken place and she didn't understand it. So good information. It's hard to talk about.
Yeah, it is hard to talk about. And a lot of people, I mean, including myself, I sometimes feel guilty for feeling I have this pit in my stomach all day at people who weren't at the school. We feel this immense grief, this immense pain, and that actually is called secondary traumatic stress, and it's very real. If you are feeling that same way and you weren't at the scene, it's okay if you get help as well. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel like you don't need it. It's very important.
And I know last night I went home and I hugged my little boy, and that helped. Talked to my husband, talked to my family.
Well, I think talking about, I mean, you know, I'm kind of an introverted person by nature, so
Mm-hmm.
I was good yesterday, and then I went home and I needed to call a friend, call a family member, and just kind of let the emotions come over me a little bit.
Decompress. Okay. Thank you, Leah.
All right, sometimes, of course, Marshall County School, we're just learning Marshall County Elementary and Middle Schools, they are going to be open tomorrow, but parents are allowed to attend school with their kids, and that may help parents and children feel more safe. And we will have information about the counseling centers at WPSD-Local6.com. As we mentioned earlier, Marshall County students are returning to the school to pick up their belongings they dropped when the bullets started flying. Local 6's Logan Gay joins us live near the road the students are using to get to the gym. Logan, what have you seen?
Well, if you look behind me, law enforcement has closed down the road leading to the main gym at the high school where their belongings are. Now, state troopers gave them very specific instructions on how to pick them up. Some of those instructions include not bringing your cell phones in the main gym. Also, you're only allowed to bring one parent or guardian, and you cannot, I repeat, you cannot bring your cell phones inside. And they said bring your chargers because it could take up to 30 minutes just to get their things. Now, I've seen dozens of cars drive past me, and I can tell you that it's definitely a sad day for everyone involved. Right now, the sophomores are driving on this road just to pick up their belongings. Live in Marshall County, Kentucky, Logan Gay, WPSD Local 6.
Seniors and juniors came earlier today, just a few minutes ago. Sophomores could start going and gathering their belongings, and then at 6:30, freshmen and 8th graders have their chance to come. We'll be right back. We'll leave you tonight with a live look of Marshall County High School.
We continue our extensive coverage of this shooting at 6. Good night.
I volunteered. I couldn't find a job at the time, so I went into service.
Any regrets?
I'll do it over again tomorrow.
But in the last few years, meeting with people that's got Vietnam veterans hat, I try to go up, shake their hands, welcome them home. Something we didn't get when we got out in the service.
All these kids are coming, and that's great for them to see it, because when I come home, it was bad. I mean, they want us to take our uniforms off and go in civilian clothes, and it wasn't pretty, but this is awesome. This is great.
It changes lives, and it truly is the wall that heals.
A chaotic evening of storms leads to a day of cleaning up the mess they left behind.
Trees on houses, even through them. Walls ripped off buildings. Crews working to get the power back on for thousands.
And some of you saying you feel lucky to be alive.
Well, it could have killed me if I went the other way, because I was right straight back forward there.
Many of you spent the day cleaning up. Now we have heat to worry about.
We've activated a weather authority alert day for extreme heat. Meteorologist Jennifer Rukavina tracking the temperatures for us. Jennifer, what's the weekend look like? We are streaming this newscast live right now on our Facebook fan page, WPSD-TV.
That's because thousands of people, maybe you in the Local 6 area, are still without power. We last checked the outage map on the Jackson Purchase Energy's website at 4:30. It said 4,274 homes are without power. Paducah Power is reporting 101 outages.
And Jennifer Ameren is reporting nearly 5,000 outages in southern Illinois and southeast Missouri. And West Kentucky Rural Electric says 103 customers are without power right now. We're told crews will be working into the night to get your power restored.
We have team coverage tonight. Our reporters have spent the day following up on your calls and on your storm pictures.
Chris Yu is in Ballard County, Kentucky. Thomas Capps is out in Livingston County. And Pauline Fitzgerald is in McCracken County. We start with Local 6 Chris Yu in Ballard, where people are braving the heat to clean up after the storm.
There are numerous downed trees there. Some crashed into homes. And as Chris explains, one family is worried about what they should do next.
It's another scorcher in western Kentucky, but cleaning up storm damage cannot wait. Betty Peeler certainly didn't wait after she was told that a tree smashed onto her daughter's home in La Center.
Relief that it didn't go all the way through the house, and a sigh because it's going to be a lot of work to get it off.
Not only a lot of work, but costly too, since the family doesn't have insurance.
I would imagine that there's a little structural damage along that wall there just from the impact, but won't be able to really assess that until the tree comes off.
Peeler says although it's unclear if the roof will leak, it looks like the home can be repaired. And there's another thing to be thankful for.
My 3 grandchildren live here with my daughters, so I'm just grateful that none of them were home at all.
Ballard County Emergency Management says that other than fallen trees, there have not been reports of other types of damage. No reports of anyone being hurt there.
Well, check out this tree that fell on a house in Benton, Kentucky from the storm. We found this on East 14th Street in Benton. No one was injured.
Well, this Sky 6 video shows the Convention and Visitors Bureau building in downtown Paducah. Part of the wall came crashing down, falling through the roof of the building. This is right at the foot of Broadway. Look at that mess. The Visitors Bureau says the building is structurally sound. That's some good news, but will be closed to visitors until they fix the roof, which they plan to do. The sidewalk there is also blocked off. Work to clean up this and other areas downtown will continue through the weekend. Livingston County was another area in the Local 6 region that was hit hard by last night's storms.
A lot of people in the Berna area experienced downed trees and power outages. Local 6's Thomas Capps is live for us in Berna. Thomas, how's the cleanup going there?
It's pretty slow right now. This is actually one of many trees in Berna that still remains untouched from last night's storm. People that live here tell me this is one of the worst storms they've seen in many years.
The wind was so strong. I don't think I've ever seen it any stronger, but it didn't last long, thank goodness. But I've got a few small limbs down, but I thought that big tree in the front yard would come down, but it didn't.
Coming up on Local 6 at 6, we'll have more on the damage here in Berna, and we'll tell you how people battled the storm as it moved through. Reporting live in Livingston County, Thomas Capps, WPSD, Local 6.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Crews are still working to fully restore power to areas hit hard by the storm. Cleanup started at sunup for many people in McCracken County. One said he's thankful he survived after a tree fell on his property.
Local 6's Stephanie Martinez talked with him and others who were checking out the damage early this morning.
Storm cleanup is happening one branch at a time.
Usually I'm a technician / electrician by trade. Today I'm cutting trees.
Jared Caldwell isn't alone. Just after sunup, Alan Rye was raking up pieces of this 80-foot tree that fortunately fell opposite of his home.
Well, that squall line, I heard it coming. Next thing I heard was this thing just tipping over. And then pretty much a great big boom.
Be careful of large limbs from what could be a rotted tree. And don't assume something like this is not energized.
Whether you're cleaning up from this storm or future storms, you really want to be careful of down power lines. This one is mixed in with this tree. If you see a down power line, you need to call 911 because you don't know if it's a live line or not.
Emergency Management Director Jerome Mansfield says Thursday night's storm is a good example of changing weather.
Need to be vigilant during these summer storm periods. They can develop quickly and wreak a lot of damage very quickly.
Damage Rye is thankful wasn't worse.
It could have killed me if I went the other way, because I was straight back forward there.
This lucky man is now raking up until the tree can be removed. In McCracken County, Stephanie Martinez, WPSD Local 6.
Mansfield tells us his department finished its damage assessment around noon. Crews mainly saw trees and limbs down in yards.
This is what some people are dealing with today in Franklin County, Illinois. Strong winds caused trees to fall on these homes. Emergency management there says there were 2 injuries, but it's not clear the extent of those injuries. The storm left roughly 3,000 customers without power. Emergency management director Ryan Buckingham says the best way to clean up after a storm like this is by using teamwork.
One of the best ways to recover is neighbor helping neighbor, so don't be afraid to help your neighbor. However, we want to make sure you do it safe. So if you're moving debris today, make sure there's no type of power lines or other safety issues that could cause an injury.
Buckingham says make sure you are well hydrated, of course, if you're planning to get outside to clean today or tomorrow.
Today's hot weather made it even harder to deal with for many of you because of power outages from last night. Local 6's Pauline Fitzgerald joins us live from McCracken County, where storms knocked down trees there. Pauline, what does it look like out there right now?
Jen, the storm really did some damage. You can see from the torn down tree right here. This morning I spoke with Jackson Purchase Energy. They told us their peak outage last night was 9,400 people. Mainly all of it was due to heavy winds, knocking down trees and tearing down power lines. They send 10 crews out overnight and crews in neighborhood counties to clean up. There are still hundreds left without power, and some are depending on their generators. If you need to report a power outage, call your electric service provider. Pauline Fitzgerald, live in McCracken County, WPSD Local 6.
All right, Pauline, thanks. Thanks to all of you for the photos you've shared with us as well. This is a gallery we put together on our web channel. To submit a photo, go to WPSDlocal6.com, click on Storm Damage Gallery. It's under Check It Out on the home page. Then click on Submit Your Photo at the top of the page.
Snow is here. Many of you in the Local 6 area are preparing for the cold and slick conditions, including road crews.
Try to give us plenty of room, be patient with us.
Some love it.
I'm just enjoying it. I know people think I'm crazy, but I like cold weather and I like snow, and so do my dogs.
Others can't wait for it to be gone.
Dry weather and no snow would solve some things.
We continue tonight with our Weather Authority Alert Day. Snow is falling in most of the Local 6 area tonight.
Snowman 6 closings are scrolling right now at the top of your screen. Meteorologist Jennifer Rukavina and Noah Berggren are tracking the snow for us tonight. So what's the latest? We do have team coverage tonight. Brianna Clark is in Union City, Tennessee. Chris Yu and Bryce Mansfield are tracking the conditions in Paducah. Leah Shields is in Graves County, Kentucky, and Logan Gay is in Southern Illinois. We start tonight with Local 6's Brianna Clark in Union City, Tennessee.
This is one of the first places in the viewing area to see some snow. So Brianna, what are you seeing out there now?
As we mentioned earlier in the newscast, Snowman 6 is activated at the top of your screen. You can also find closings at WPSDlocal6.com and on our WPSD Local 6 weather and news apps.
President Donald Trump will be in the Local 6 area again tonight. Thousands of people are waiting in the rain right now to get into the Show Me Center in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Trump is expected to start speaking at 9 p.m. tonight. We're going to have more on his campaign rally in just a few minutes. But first, we've activated a Weather Authority Alert Day. Meteorologist Jennifer Rukavina is tracking some storms in the Local 6 area now. So, Jen, where are you seeing those storms? As we mentioned, President Trump is traveling the country for last-minute campaigning ahead of tomorrow's midterm elections. Right now, Trump is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Here is a live look from that rally. You can see it is a full house there in Fort Wayne. He is expected to speak there around 5:30 our time. Now, earlier today, he was in Cleveland, Ohio, and later tonight, he's planning a rally in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. We have team coverage of the president's visit. Local 6 anchor Todd Faulkner is with Local 6 reporters Bryce Mansfield, Leah Shields, Thomas Capps, and Stephanie Martinez. We're going to start tonight with Todd, who joins us live inside the Show Me Center, where President Trump will take the stage at 9 o'clock tonight. Todd, do we know what President Trump is expected to talk about tonight?
This was probably the scariest I've ever been in my life.
Michael is headed off the East Coast, but left devastation in its path.
Help is coming by air, land, and sea.
Hundreds of thousands from Florida to the Carolinas are without power.
We got a little nervous about the trees popping. You could hear them popping. And then when your lights went out, you said that's it. You knew that was it.
At least 6 people now confirmed dead in the wake of the storm.
It was horrible. I've been through storms before. This was the strongest, harshest storm I've ever seen.
Well, this is what Mexico Beach, Florida looked like before Hurricane Michael tore through the panhandle. You can see the canal right here, and there are houses, hotels, boats, all sorts of things. This is after the hurricane. This is that same canal, but the buildings, as you can see, are just flattened. You can't see any boats there. Crews continue to assess the damage here at Mexico Beach, Florida. They say this was ground zero for the storm. You could see this aerial shot. This was well, showing you just how severe that destruction is on the ground. The infrastructure is so damaged it could take weeks for power to be fully restored, and rebuilding will take much longer.